Hello, everyone. Hello, my teachers, my tutors, my game changers, people that are trying to make this world into a better place. So, why haven't you started yet? Hmm? Let's just stop fooling. Let's stop kidding ourselves. Why haven't you started yet? So you want to progress. You want to have that dream house in a villa somewhere south of France. You have your computer screensaver with the beach, with that nice tranquil water, and you want to be there each and every single solitary day, right? So what are you doing to get closer to that? Right now, people, we got this one life and this one life only. And you want to pursue and you want to have not only the dream house and the beautiful beach view, and you really want to have that time. You really want to have that financial freedom. So if it is, staying in the classroom or pursuing that dream job that you always wanted, why not go after it? Okay. So if we're kind of looking at it, we're going live in multiple places. So we are live in LinkedIn, we're live on Instagram, Facebook. We're traveling. We're doing this. Okay. But it always stems from something that's standing in your way. So if you really think about it, like what is it? What's kind of holding you back for having that beachfront? What's holding you back from doing all that? Is it something that you really want to keep doing each and every day? Every Friday, you're excited. Saturday, you're keeping it going. Then Sunday, you get that pit in your stomach, like, "Ah, but I got to go back to work on Monday." Then Monday hits, and then you're like, I just want to get through the week. But you're not just getting through the week, you're getting through your life, you're getting through everything. So it is kind of like, what is it that is holding you back? What is that that's standing between your passion and your reality? So some people call it this, like a unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause some kind of harm or maybe even a threat. So do you have any idea what that could be? I'll read it again. An unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or threat. Well, there's one thing that I think this gentleman, whose name is Zig Ziglar, kind of hit it hard. So what he said was, it's a false evidence, let me take that off, appearing real. Think about it. A false evident appearing real. I know my hand gestures all over the place. No matter what, it's called fear. It's called fear. And we just get so afraid of doing something that is out of the norm. So if I really wanted to do something that was normal, that's almost like something that everyone is doing. But because fear, it kind of stands in your way. It can basically stop a dream dead in its tracks. But then I have to ask you a question. Does it actually exist? Does fear actually exist? It said so. It's a false evidence. How do you know that fear is there? We always get these thoughts in our mind, and I think a lot of us call it imposter syndrome. Like, I remember when I first started teaching, I was like, who am I to teach another human being how to do math when I was in grade school, I sucked at math. Like it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Fractions, no. Word problems, hell no. I'm not doing any of that. But then I had to learn to get over that. Like I don't know where that fear of fractions came from. I really don't know where word problems came from. And just that whole misconception that I couldn't do it. But eventually, with practice, with more exposure, all of a sudden it just clicked. It took this lady who where I was at a school and I was an instructional assistant, And all she said was, fractions is nothing but division. What? It's just like all you do is like 1/2 is just definitely 1 divided by 2. And it just clicked. I was at the rightful age of 25. And we all know the brain really doesn't really start kicking in until that age anyway. But for years before that, I literally did not want to do anything with fractions. I didn't even know how to bake. I was afraid to bake because that had to deal with fractions. But when you're looking at that, it's just like when you're looking back at it, you're like, man, that just seemed so silly for me. So, what I'm trying to do for today is to show like 4 things that I use to kind of get past that fear. And I'm not saying that fear is going to disappear. Like, I'm not going to be here and say, all right, I'm going to give you 4 things and you're never going to be fearful again. That's a lie. No one can do that. But what I'm going to show you is like a couple of things, and it's so small and so simple that will kind of help bring things down. Because if anyone doesn't know, I'm a type A personality. I love my organization. I love things to be to a T. But let's be realistic. Life is not like that. Life is not linear, guys. It's definitely not linear. It's all over the place. Doing the Macarena for life. Okay. But by looking at these 4 ways, it'll probably lessen that fear a little bit. And hopefully it'll give you a little more encouragement to get past it. And then you can achieve what you want to achieve, even for that just brief moment. So you're probably like, well, who am I? Who is this chick? Why should I even listen to her? Well, my name is Audrey Codner, and I'm the founder of ACG Math Tutoring. And I have been teaching for 21 years, but I was in the classroom for 18. So 2 weeks before the pandemic, I decided I had enough. I wanted to pursue my dream. I wanted my time back. I wanted my financial freedom back. I got tired of people saying that, hey, you're going to get a 1% raise. But guess what? We're going to raise the benefits by 2%. And then I just took it upon myself to say, you know what? I have to go. So I know when I first started doing this online tutoring thing, I may not have a whole lot of names like Oprah and everybody else behind me, but I can tell myself that I believe in myself. And I know that Oprah had to start somewhere, right? All those big names like Mel Gibbons, she had to start somewhere. Gail, she had to start somewhere. Steve Harvey, he had to start somewhere. So everyone had to start at a particular place. And this is where I'm at. I'm using the experiences that I've had within the last 3 years to share with you. So, this is why you should listen to me. I'm doing it and I love doing it, but I don't want you to have fear to kind of stop you from where you're at. All right. So, while we're doing that, if you haven't done so, make sure you come and join me. I do have a Facebook group called From the Classroom to Online Tutoring. It's just a space, especially for secondary math teachers. We have like some resources, we have some other things, and some places where you can just have a safe space to ask your questions before you dive into anything. The one true thing that I kind of hold on is my integrity. I'm not here to kind of give you any fluff. I'm just here to give you information. You take it, you run with it. That'll be amazing. All right. So now let's get to it. Number one, you need to define your fear because sometimes you'll sit there, you're like, I'm just afraid of my own shadow. But there's times like I'm scared or I'm afraid, and you're like, what are you scared of? And you say simply everything because it's a simple, easy answer. But one time you have to stop and define your fear. What is it about making that transition that scares you? Is it because, all right, I'm so used to getting this check every 2 weeks, and now it's going to vary? It all depends on how many students I get. Is that part of the fear? Or is it because I don't know if I'm going to have enough money in order for me to do what I need to do? Is it because you feel like I said earlier, you're gonna feel like an imposter? That you're just not gonna be a part of a group and everything that you say, you're like, why would anyone listen to me? So by defining your fear, I kind of like to say it's a combination. It's a spectrum. Everything in life is a spectrum. So the opposite of fear is excitement. It's all based on how you perceive it. So when you feel like, oh, no one's going to listen to me, like I'm stupid, I'm this, but then you got to stop and think, especially if you were a classroom teacher, you've done this before. You've done this multiple times. So how can you say that you're an imposter? You've been here. You've done this. Just because you're not doing it on an online scale each and every time doesn't mean that you're an imposter. You're having a different experience just like everyone else. So, like for me, I know there's tons of tutors out there. There's a couple of them that's on this live right now. But with all of this, you still have to remember that even though this is your tutoring business and there's so many tutoring business, like for me, there's tons of math tutors out there. But I have to remember they're not me. I have my crazy little sense of humor. The way that I talk to people, it kind of brings them in. I don't know how, but it just does. And it just brings people in. So I have to remember and try to remind myself to say, you know what, Audrey, be excited. Instead of thinking like, oh God, I'm about to get a new student that's at honors and I'm not used to teaching honors, just say, you know what, I'm excited. Let's see what kind of twist they got in honors. Let me see how I can approach it. Because most of the time, if you do have an advanced student, sometimes they do kind of want you to bring it down a little bit and then you pump it back up. So when I talk about that is like, let's say, for example, slope. Some schools will call it the gradient, and some people will be like, all right, what is that? And some people will like, I don't know what that is. And you say, hey, remember rise over run? They're like, yeah, that's what that is. You're looking at the certain grades. And they're like, oh. So why didn't they just say that? I was like, I just told you. So by looking at that, by not saying like, I'm going to be fearful of this, just say I'm going to be excited. And just saying those words, and I know it's going to take some practice, it really does change your perspective on it. Because everything that we do, especially when you're encountering some kind of fearful active, look at the perspective of it. If you switch it up, it generally kind of helps out a little bit. So while you're doing that, why don't we try this? Write down your fears, create a chart. And I've done this before. One side, I had my fears. What did I fear? I feared that I was an imposter. I had a fear that no one was going to pay me my price. I had a fear that I wasn't going to make enough money to keep my mortgage, and then I would have to go crawling back with my tail between my legs. And those were my main three scary ones. But on the other end of the spectrum, I really wanted to kind of do a counter of that. So if I'm fearful of leaving because of finances, okay, let me take a look at my finances. Will I have enough money? What are some of the things that I definitely need to keep things going? And then you have to go into that whole need want type of thing. So sometimes writing it down helps because you're constantly going back and forth in your brain. And this is why you can't sleep because you're constantly going ping, 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 ping in your brain and you can't relax. But by writing things down, it's a little more clear because sometimes it may be things that you thought was really big, like, oh my God, I'm about to lose my house. And you're like, dude, you already saved enough for a couple years just in case that first year doesn't work out. Oh my God, what happens if I don't get enough students? Are you telling people what you're doing? Are you telling your friends? Are you telling your family? Are you asking them to post in their social media for you? If the answer is no, do that. So, like, in order for people to know what you're doing, they need to know you exist. Right now, I know there's probably a couple people on here that's like, who's this chick? Because they never seen me before. So by doing little things like content, having videos, putting social media posts, talking to your friends, making flyers. Don't forget, don't sleep on that because you have like a lot of small businesses that are doing the same thing, doing collaborations. By you having that active piece, which is my next part, is for you to do your little research and then take some kind of action to it. But of course, I'm stepping ahead because as a teacher, we were always told to toughen up. We were always told to have a thick skin. Don't take anything personal. Just keep it moving. But once you become a business owner, I'm not saying that you're just going to be like very nice and sweet and innocent. You still have to have a toughness about you. You still have to have your integrity. You still have to know your value. But when it comes to you have to leave your teacher, you are now a martyr, you got to leave that life alone. You really got to shed your teacher's skin. That tough skin that everyone told you that you had to be, out the window. Now you got to make sure that you're doing it. And just in case, so like Coach ET, Eric Thomas, if you guys don't even go through that, you have to go through that. I can, I will, I must. Like, I can do this business. I will do this business. And I must. If I like to eat, which I do, I have to do what is needed in order for people to know who I am, for people to trust me, to build relationships. So now I can make connections naturally. I don't have to come off salesy because I know a lot of us are fearful of being salesy. Like, I don't want to be fake. I don't want to push. But if you build relationships with people, you don't have to worry about pushing. You can just be yourself. Another way of saying it is, I don't want you to chase. Oops. Okay. I don't want you to have to chase after people. You don't want to chase. That's exhausting. You ever chase like a kid all of a sudden gets out of a bathtub? God forbid why a kid be in the bathtub by itself, but work with me, people. Okay. They jump out of the tub, they run around and you're chasing after them. Isn't it exhausting? Or maybe even a dog. That might be a better thing. And you're chasing after them. It's exhausting. Same thing with your business. Why are you chasing? Why do you want to have to chase after people? No. You want to build your content. You want to share who you are. Enough with the stock photos. If more than 50% of your presentation is stock photos, a lot of people are going to automatically think that you're fake. I'm just going to be real with you. So instead of chasing, you're creating. You're creating and attracting a way for your ideal client or customer or next person to come in and say, hey, okay, I like you. Oh, you're kind of cool. But you're presenting that through your content. So you need to shed that teacher skin. You really need to stop being a martyr and just be who you are. Because once you bring that down and you know what your business is supposed to be, and you know you can keep your integrity, and you're building relationships with people, and people are going to be trusting you, and you're giving a great service, and now they're spreading the word to other people, guess what? Word of mouth is so powerful than any other marketing out there. That's what you want. All right, so that was number two. That took me a little bit. Number three, I kind of mentioned a little bit. You need to do your research. And if you have been following the trend, the education sector is starting to boom. It's going to blow up. But then here's the thing, if things keep going the way it is, there's going to be a lot of teachers leaving the classroom. And a lot of these people are leaving and they have no idea what their next step is. So do your research. Now, am I sitting here saying, yo, be like Les Brown, jump and grow your wings on the way down? Look, I don't know your situation because right now You might want to not jump, but just kind of stick your big toe in the water a little bit, splashing around, and then you're just like moving on. But you need to do your research to see, is this something that you want to do? And it doesn't have to be tutoring. I'm going to speak about tutoring, but it's always like your passion project. What is something that you spend a lot of time on, or you wish you could spend a lot of time on, but you're not because you're too busy doing this 9 to 5 job and making more money for someone else? And I could speak on for tutors. A lot of people say, oh, well, you should join like this company or that company. But guess what? These companies are charging parents the amount of money that you think is a high price, but you're only getting 30% of it. Why not do it yourself? And as you build, then you can expand. Don't try to be like, I need to give back to the community before you set yourself up. Set yourself up first. Make sure everything is situated. Make sure this is something that you want to do before you start investing tons of money and tons of time into it. Because this is work. All right. Just because I'm not in the classroom doesn't mean that I'm not working. I'm still doing planning. I'm not doing as much intense lesson planning, but I'm still planning. So you want to do your research, but then take action. I'm going to have to be truthful. I'm going to get on my soapbox for 5 seconds. If you come to me and you ask me for advice, put it into action. Don't waste my time because you wouldn't want that to happen to you. You want someone to take the information that you're given and you want to apply it, just like my students. I don't want my students coming to me asking for assistance and I'm showing them like, hey, this will be an awesome tool for you to do so you can have that to use for classwork, homework, maybe even the assessment if you're allowed to. But then when they don't do it and they're like, oh, I'm still failing, why don't you give this a try? And they're just like, okay. And then they do it and all of a sudden they get an A. Yeah, okay. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. But if you are going to go into any kind of business, tutoring, selling soap, selling body butter, everybody's selling body butter lately. Selling t-shirts, being a mechanic, whatever your business or your passion is, do your research and then take action. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Because sometimes we want everything to be so perfect, then guess what? It never gets started because that's how that fear creeps in. I'm telling you, it's like a crazy person in the night. It'll come in and creep in and it'll just take over. So don't let fear get in the way of what you want to do. All right. And that was number 3. So for number 4, remember your why. You thought it was going to be a long drum roll, but no, it's late. Remember your why. Why are you doing this? There's so many times in that corner over there, I have been like curled up and like rocking like a child. I'm like, why am I doing this? This is like a lot of stuff. I have to do the marketing, I have to do the tutoring, and then I have to do the videos. And what am I going to say on the videos? And am I going to look stupid in the videos? Maybe I should get my hair done. Oh my God, the person that usually gets my hair done, she's not available. Stop. Don't let that fear creep in. Don't do it. Again, I'll say it doesn't have to be perfect. Passion is dirty. Okay? We'll try to keep it clean here. But passion is dirty. You have to remember your why. Why did you want to do a business? Is it because someone kept saying, you're really good at this, you should do a business? And you kept hearing that in your head over and over and over again? For me, I know tutoring has a cap. So I know it's going to be tough to go above and beyond that. So you got to think of other streams. I know some people are going to think about tutoring as like something to help a little bit. But overall, I know that my heart of hearts, eventually I'm going to have to stop. Well, then I'm jumping into what? And why do I want to jump into what? Some teachers are like really into outdoor activities, but they're using tutoring to help pay for those outdoor activities. No matter what, you're still helping people along the way. You're helping people to pass their tests or to break that math barrier. And then you're helping people to share your passion to bring some joy in their life. Either way, it's a win, win, win situation. So with all that being said, these are the things that helps me calm down. Okay? So let me go back to one, I'm defining my fear. What is it that I'm afraid of? And then I'm going to write down those fears and what I can counter with it. The second thing, I need to shed my teacher skin. I'm no longer a martyr. I no longer have to chase. I'm just going to simply attract the people that I want to work with. You got a choice now. You don't have to deal with 40 people in the classroom. You're like, oh God, I can't have another person in here. And it's just like nuts. You get to choose if you want to work with one-to-one or a small group. Then do your research and take action. Don't wait for it to be perfect because guess what? Remembering your why and committing to that passion is dirty. It's not going to be perfect. So, with those things, it kind of helps me to kind of surpass or just kind of submit. It's not going to go away, it's just going to kind of bring it down a little bit. So, it's not so intense to the point that you just frozen. And one other thing that I always like to say, hey, look for assistance. Look for like-minded people. Like-minded or people that are greater. Because sometimes when you try to share your thoughts and your dreams and your passions with other people, they usually just say, well, that's dumb. It's not dumb. They just can't see your passion. And you have to believe in yourself when it comes to that because you are not just setting something up. You're showing a part of you, something that you're good at that you want to share with the whole entire world. So, with that being said, I have that Facebook community. Okay. Again, it's called From the Classroom to Online Tutoring. Even if online tutoring is not your thing, and if you are a math teacher or a math tutor and you just want to find a place just to spill out ideas or maybe even join me for my Q&As or maybe have someone to be like your accountability partner. I could be your accountability partner like on steroids because for me, I overshare. You're like, Audrey, well, how can I get this? Let's look at some resources and then just go right through the whole thing. Okay. So, with that, if you come on there, there is a free copy. And I think I have a picture of it on, unfortunately, I can't show it on TikTok, but I do have TikTok. Here we go. This is like a listing of all the things that I went through. I do have a tutoring business checklist. It gives you a checklist of the things that you need, regardless of what state that you're in. This is the US version of it, of course, because things in Canada and things in Europe are different. But with the US version, like what are the must haves that you need for your business? What are the equipment that you must have? And what are some of the suggestions that you can do with your marketing? So it just kind of gives you a nice little checklist. And again, for those here, this is what it looks like up here. So if you ever want to go to my Facebook group, that's where you're going to go. And sorry, let me turn some things on and off. And for the most part, that's what we got. So if you are interested, I'm so glad that one, the people that are here, if you're here for the live or if you're here for the replay, the main fact that you gave me some of your time and your attention and you wanted to kind of know, like, all right, how can I get through this fear? And I greatly appreciate the people that are here on Facebook. I'm so glad that I was able to get some stuff because they were telling me I wasn't be able to get some comments. So we have Robert, we have Devanya. Hey, how are you? Okay, Lori. And I think there is some other people that is on my other sites. Oh, Daniel. Always a big supporter. So that's basically it. When you're going into any kind of business, now this I know I'm talking about tutoring, but if you want to go into any kind of business, stay true to yourself, trust yourself, believe in yourself and your product, and don't let anybody make you completely convert. But if you do need any kind of assistance, especially for tutoring, you want to reboot some things, you want to like throw some ideas. For me, I'm the type of person, you can give me some ideas. I'm not going to take your ideas. They're your ideas. You might want some clarification on it. And that's what I do. I like to clarify, I like to break things down. And that's why I also have this other segment called Ask Audrey. Trust me, I have people asking me about their soap business and I got a farm of goats. That was fun. Um, they're asking me about their goat business and some people with tutoring and just how they can tweak some things. So, any interest, please join up for the Facebook group or if anything, do a private message with me and I'm more than willing to help you guys out. All right. So hopefully you have a great night. I just usually do my lives for a half an hour every Tuesday. And I will see you soon. All right. Take care, guys. Let me see how I can Jimmy rig all this.